Hello everybody. I am coming to do another video, and to be quite honest, I had a moment where I paused before I went ahead and did this video because I kind of thought about whether or not I should even mention the person's name who inspired this video, or what their relationship is to me. But I thought, hey, at this point, um, why not? Um, and it's relevant to what I'm talking about, the particular person who it was. Anyway, with that said, I want to talk about uh, boundaries and the space in which we give people to speak in our lives, and how, in allowing people a certain space in our lives, we give them room and we give them voice and to speak into our spirit. And sometimes in them speaking to our spirit, um, it's up to us to be watchful and mindful of how what people say in our ear, what we allow people to say in our ear, because sometimes what someone says in our ear or speaks into our spirit crosses a spiritual boundary. And so I said that to say I was in a conversation the other day with my father, and we were talking. Actually, it was yesterday. We were talking, and the conversation went well. I asked him some questions, really asking him about his childhood and about his life and different things that shaped him as a young man. And for me, that sort of thing is important to me, to know about what shaped him, because the things that shaped him are the things that he nurtured into me. So I asked him a few questions, and I listened to him as he told me and shared with me about what it was that I had asked of him. And for me, I also am a very sure person when I approach a conversation. I already know for me that I have something good to leave in the conversation, or I have something of substance to leave in any moment that I'm in. So I speak very confidently and very direct and very sure in a moment of conversation with anyone, because what I'm clear about is that I have something to give them, and there is a chance that they have something to give me as well. However, our conversation took a turn, and I'll use that word more so, a turn, um, in that we got to a impasse in the conversation, and I had spoken and said what I felt like I had needed to say, and I was pretty much done with what I felt like I needed to say. And then he said in the conversation, "Well, I have a message for you." And I said, "Okay." Didn't think nothing of it. And it was him passing along a message from someone else to me. And for me, in this age of technology, I don't do three-way messages or in between messages well. As far as especially a person who is alive, and of the means and resources that we do have in internet and technology to be able to reach out to a person directly that we want to contact, I don't do that sort of tell a person I said to tell them. And that was the message. A person told him to tell them that they said hi to me. I don't do that from anyone I want to get in contact with. I speak to them directly, or I make a way, or I find a way in this age to speak with them directly. And so that's where the conversation took a turn. And so I said, I really don't care if if I speak to them or not, or the whole premise of it was that he could give them my number for them to call me, or um, he was going to give me the person's number, and I could call them. And I really had no desire to, because for me, that particular person, I didn't feel a need to talk to them in this particular part of my life. But if they want to talk to me, then I told him that they could have my number and they could call me. To me, that's how that goes. Anyway, then it turned into um, him beginning to express things that he wanted for me, or that he was going to pray for me in regard to things that he wanted for me. And that's when I blocked him right there. I said, no, I don't need your prayers. Um, and long story short, for me, I'm learning about that sort of thing anyway. Anytime we allow someone um, to speak in a way that goes against the way that we speak, for me, I'm a person that speaks life, as I said. And so anything that sounds that is contrary to that, oh, I'm interrupting. I don't allow a person to speak. It doesn't matter who it is. And we have that right, that spiritual right, that if a person is speaking or is in spiritual violation of their right in our space, then we have the right to check them and to block and to veto. And so that's what I did in that moment. And uh, he accused me of interrupting him and not letting him speak, and that he had allowed me to speak, so I should allow him to speak. But that's not true. And I say that's not true because if anyone, and this case it happened to be my father, but in any case, in anyone that we're dealing with, if they are speaking word curses, which ultimately, if a person begins to speak or say they're going to pray for us, and that prayer or those words go against who we know ourselves to be, who God has made us to be, because we have the power and we have the connection directly to God, wherein we don't need any intermediate interference or help, unless that person is praying on our behalf or praying toward what the vision and purpose of God is for our life, or not them saying what they want or what they would like our life to be, or what they think our life should be, or think our relationship should be. That person does not have that right. And I'm learning my spiritual power. So for me, it doesn't matter to me who it is. But if that person is in violation in my space, I stand up boldly in my spiritual authority, and I speak directly against, or I rebuke the spiritual interference of that person's words. And knowing now that any prayer that is spoken toward me or prayed toward me or in my direction is prayed amiss, because I'm clear about who I am. And if I catch any spiritual interference, I stand up quick and I pull out my sword, my spiritual sword, and I chop it off. And so I'm very clear about that. So as I stated, it doesn't matter particularly who it is, but we have the right, and we have it's our job or our assignment or our authority that we have to be able to say, if we sense in a moment, and to have the spiritual awareness. And I use that word very much so in the sense that everyone is spirit, but everyone is not spiritual. And because what it takes to be spiritual is a certain level of self-awareness. And some of us have not gotten to that space of self-awareness to be spiritual. That's full of spirit. So, what's this? Full spirit, full, but spiritual, that's a active practice. Excuse me, that's an active practice of spiritual awareness. So, yeah, I'm pretty much done right here, but I just know that I'm clear about who I am. I'm doing the work. I am practicing every day. It's a journey for me to walk in and utilize my spiritual authority and the spiritual knowing, the confidence of who I am. I walk in that. And anything that interferes or crosses that gets checked. It's that simple. All right. Y'all have a good time or a good day or good moment, your next experience. And I'll talk to you another time. See you.